till the end.
We are back, and we're joined by Sam Labrier of Montreal 9/11 Truth, talking about this Adapting to a New World Order, the 15th annual conference at the Hilton Montreal Bonaventure Hotel, conferencemontreal.com. Now, this is the International Economic Forum of the Americas. That's their forum, and now it's all about a new world order. You've been covering this now for 2 days. Are you in there with a camera?
No, actually, on Monday it was impossible to get in. There was police everywhere. Mm-hmm. We tried to find a way in, but every entrance we could find into the Hilton was guarded by security. Today, however, the weather on Monday was really nice. Today it was really miserable outside, and there was nobody. When I got there, I was able to walk right into the hotel, and you can't actually walk into the conferences because the conferences cost several $100s per conference to go to. Mm-hmm. So they're pretty good.
No, they're elitist. I've been to conferences before. You know, they want you to spend all this money on a tag and ha ha ha. You know, they love giving speeches apparently though about a new world governance and thriving in a new financial order. Now, thriving in a new financial order says to me they're looking to do some, you know, reconsolidation of power we may see in Amero with this administration. I mean, what is the vibe you're getting from this conference?
Well, we met a reporter on Monday who works for a big finance and investment magazine who had media credentials and was allowed inside. And we asked him several times if they were talked about the North American Union. Mm-hmm. And he told us that, no, not today, but on Wednesday. It's supposed to be what they're talking about a lot on Wednesday. And
well, I think that's got to be it, because if you look at the first thing that they're going to do, instead of the Securities and Prosperities Partnership, the SPP documents we know about, now it looks like it's going to be renamed the Public-Private Partnerships in Infrastructure, the PPPI, and Emerging Economies, the conditions necessary for their implementation. Okay, and then the fourth thing, European Union, America's free trade, the sensitive issues. And so in other words, reading in between the lines, this is what we're now going to call it. We're going to bring public organizations in through all this new funding, all this, you know, Give Act money in the United States, and I'm sure there'll be funding in from Canada as well. And then we need to develop a system that's a lot like the European Union, but there are going to be some sensitive issues with America's free trade, despite the fact that we've passed CAFTA, despite the fact that NAFTA has been around forever. You know, that's not enough. They want these superhighways to gut through Canada into Mexico and really amalgamate the three countries into this new union. I mean, that's something that they put on paper themselves, and they seem to be discussing tomorrow, which is all about the quote-unquote Americas.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you should mention the superhighways, because I'd always heard of the Trans-Texas Corridor, of course, mm-hmm. But actually somebody pointed out to me yesterday a big conference that's going on up here about the northeastern part of the corridor, and it's officially getting underway as well, which I had no idea. So I'm
now, where is that coming through? Is that coming through New York State from Canada, or?
To be honest, like I just learned about it today, so I didn't get a lot of details. Mm-hmm. I just saw that there is a big conference or big planning event regarding the northeastern part of the corridor. I'd be happy to send it to you what I learned about.
Yeah, definitely to send it over to myspace.com/Jason Bermas or Rob D at Infowars.com. But again, that coincides with these SPP documents, because it's not just the Trans-Texas Corridor. It's literally 4 superhighways that gut the country. One on the West Coast, one on the East Coast, 2 in between. And that is their plan. Vicente Fox openly told Luke Rudowski of WeAreChange.org that indeed did occur, and that he felt like it wasn't happening fast enough. He was upset that the globalization wasn't taking place quick enough. It seems, though, with all of this financial crisis, they're now on a fast track to reorganize global government and its image. I mean, I think that's what this is about. And with Madeleine Albright, again, tomorrow, giving the speech entitled The Americas and the New World Order. The Americas literally means not only North America, but South America as well, as they deindustrialize this nation even further and send the automobile industry, for instance, down to South America and China. So this is truly about globalization, but globalization's good. We should all just love global government. Why don't you talk about some of the things that you personally, have problems with global government? Like, why don't we want a new world order, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I've always said if the world was able to come together in a sort of a kumbaya way, like an organic process, and sort of shed the divisions of nation states, and we all recognize each other as brothers and sisters on Earth, that sort of one world government in that way would actually be a good thing, I think. But the way that it's being pursued now, the motives behind it and the people behind it, it's very sinister. It's for a completely different reason. It's all about control and domination.
Well, to me, it's like this. That all sounds well and good. And, I would be for that too. No one's saying here that, I want war with anybody in humanity. If we could all live a peaceful life, if we could all have the same individual rights and freedoms, there was no need for warfare, there was no need for global government, I'd be down with it too. But if you look at their plan, their consolidation of power, they do want these regional governments under one global government system. Now, who's pushing this? These are people that are into the occult, number one, which is spooky enough. But number two, these are the same people that bring us false flag terror. These are the same people that have now been in the Middle East for almost 8 years. Almost
the same people that bring us the Federal Reserve.
Same people that bring us the Federal Reserve. Same people that give us mercury in our vaccinations. Same people that are now meeting in New York in secret to discuss overpopulation.
Right. To me, it comes down to two things. Control over the money. They want one world bank, so they can control all the money of the world, one world currency. And like you said, control over the population. These people, a lot of them, like Alex always talks about, they're eugenicists. They believe the world is overpopulated. There's way too many useless eaters. Need to eliminate a huge percentage of us. I mean, the Georgia Guidestones is a perfect example of their belief system. So, yeah, it's in a way it's pure evil. There's no other way to put it. What they want to do.
Yeah, and I always want to warn people that even if the end game looks good, something like a zeitgeist addendum, realize that that's the end game of the elite as well. They would love us all to live in similar housing, to have restrictions on how many kids we could have, to not have jobs, to dress the same way, to look the same way, to be part of a cashless society control grid, a new technocracy. That's what this is leading into. But if you read the fine print, about 80% of us won't be here to enjoy it. And, the ones that do survive, we're not going to live like the elite. We are literally going to become their slave race. And with people, I had to see a story this week on CNN about a cop in Miami who took a chip in his arm, and he's encouraging other police officers to take a chip in his arm. We know that in 2004, the Mexican government implemented the chip system. RFID technology is only getting bigger and better, but not really bigger, smaller. When I say bigger, the companies are just getting bigger, and the applications are getting even more mind-blowing in my eyes. I mean, we had to run that story last week where the CIA was playing, quote-unquote, Islamic militants to take these little microchips about the size of a grain of rice and throw them into homes of other militants, and then a missile would find the chip and blow the house up. Well, then the guy came clean and said, well, actually, they were paying me so good, $122 a handful, that I just started throwing them anywhere, in any home. So this guy was killing innocent women and children by biometric RFID chips. I mean, this is insanity on another level, and that's what's happening now. That's what's happening today. And I don't see our country getting out of the Middle East whatsoever. I don't see, Canada saying, oh, the United States is out of control, we need to oppose their policies. I see them arm in arm, and that's what this conference is about. Growing the relationship not only between Canada and the United States, but Canada, the United States, and Mexico for this North American Union.
Well, just like I'm sure in the States it's more complicated than it seems on TV. Yes, the Canadian leaders are often sellouts or whatever you want to call them. But I mean, just like in the States, how you have a lot of people who are, pro Ron Paul, pro audit the Fed and the Fed. There's a whole underground movement that you don't really hear about in the mainstream. It's the same up here, at least in Quebec. A lot of people know about the New World Order up here. I mean,